Hello guys, welcome back in the Databricks free edition series. This is the first video which I created. If you haven't watched that, or if you are new to this channel, I highly recommend you to watch because this video is the continuation of the first one. Here in the first video, we went until the process of sign up, right? So this is the page where you will be appearing when you are signed up or you logged in after you sign up, right? The main reason of creating this video about Databricks UI is to show you different tabs and different things in the UI itself, because you need to be familiar with the Databricks UI, and it might be quite challenging because there are so many things baked into the UI itself. How I want to start is, let me make this screen a little bit bigger so you get the full view. On the top right, there is this hamburger menu. If you click this one, it will just close and open the sidebar menu also, if you have used it before. I will go into the left bar menu later. Let's go from the main board itself. So this is the landing page, as you can see, and here you can see your latest interactions. You can see here I went through this in my last video. You can see the favorites here. If you have some favorites, it's a good idea because, as I said, you in the UI it might be quite challenging sometimes, and you can have these favorites appearing here. You can go into the Mosaic AI and what is recently added, or let's say newly added, then features models here. And what's new, I think this is really good because from here you can see what is new in the Databricks UI on Databricks. Right here you can see in June there are some quite a many announcement, and you can see there is in the May and so on. From this you can see what is provided to you. This is just a UI walkthrough, so I'm not going to go into the details here, but you get the point and you can just see what happened in this Databricks site in June. Now let's go into the top bar. This star you are seeing here is the Databricks Assistant. I'm not going to go through that. I will create a separate video about Databricks Assistant, because when you are using Databricks Assistant can be really helpful. This is baked into different places, not only in this menu. That's the reason I want to create a separate video so you know in all the different places where the Databricks Assistant is being baked into, right? And on the top right you can see this is your profile. You can go here and see what is in the previews. One thing I want to mention you now is if you are working in an organization where somebody else has configured your Databricks, and if you are not following this Databricks free edition, then these things might not be showing you because admin will be taking care of all those things. But this is the Databricks free edition, so if you are logged in based on what I explained in my previous video, then you should be able to see all of this. As you can see, you can just toggle on and off these things and it will be reflected in the main UI. This is the previews. Now if I go, there is send feedback. I don't need to go into that. Log out, you know what it is. If you go to the settings, now this is the main page where you configure your Databricks UI. When you go to the settings, it comes to the profiles. You can see your name, display name, what you want to display, your groups, and multi-factor authentication. If you want the multi-factor authentication, go into manage MFA and it will open in the new tab. This is one thing also you need to be knowing, because once you click it will be opening in the new tab and so on. So it might be, okay, where did my previous tab went away, right? So one way to navigate is to right click and open in the new tab so that your previous one is still here. This is also challenging part sometimes. You can click, you want to go back 1 to 3 steps. It will be easier if you open in a new tab, because then you can open multiple tabs and work side by side. Small tip, but it will be helpful, trust me. Here you can see user preferences, instructions for all these different things. So this multi-factor authentication, right? So multi-factor authentication is currently disabled. You can go here, register a sign-in method. If you go inside this one, you can see it says passkey or authentication app. You can just follow this. If you follow this, it will show you how to do the multi-factor authentications. Now if I go to preferences, you can see there are many languages supported by Databricks. Whatever prefer, dark theme, or if you want a light theme and so on, it's up to you. Here you can see this Databricks API and SS tokens and so on. So once you start working into the Databricks, you want to authenticate Databricks, right? So here is this authenticate to Databricks API. So I'm not going to go into now details because this video and this whole series is It will be technical little by little. I don't want to deep dive into the technical aspect right away, and because Databricks can be used by any persona in the company, managers or high-tech employees or something like this, right? So that's the reason I want it to be for all of you. There are different things you can go there on, enable, disable things and so on. This is the linked accounts. When you are working as a developer, you want to do some Git integrations. You have your code on some version control system and integrate that into the Databricks. So you can also do that. I will create separate video related to this later. And notifications, this is normal things, right? Before going into the sidebar, I want to go to this workspace admin. You can see this is the user. Here is the user, preferences, developer, and so on. And now here comes the admin, right? If you go here, you can see these are the things maintained by the admin. The settings for admin or user. If it's a user, you have the right to do. But also those settings might be disabled by admin sometimes if the UI keeps changing, and there are many privileges into it. But here is the appearances, SQL Plotly. Do you want the Plotly or not? Color palette, no color chosen right now. If you want to have some specific color palette for visualizations, because company has their own color palettes, right? You can already go here and manage things. Data format, it depends upon the location, what kind of data format you want. It's different in US, it's different in Europe, in different parts of the world, right? You can choose which one you want to have. Time format, do you want to have this in the hour minute or hour minute second or something like this, right? You can configure this. And here you can rename the workspace. I can say here date and see if I save it, it is changed to data science basics. So let's go to the second one, identity. Here users, group, service principles, and so on. There is the identity and security things. You can see all the different aspects here. So results download, do you want to enable or disable, notebook and file exploring, and compute. Databricks needs to be powered by some compute. Similarly, when you open your laptop, if there is no compute, then there is nothing. You should have compute, SQL warehouses and serverless compute. And in the here we cannot create many compute because this is the free edition. But if you want to go into the main Databricks UI, there is a possibility of using GPU, very powerful RAM and storage. That depends upon the organization what you want to use. But remember that it's compute. I'll create a completely separate video about this because I'm going to create many videos. This is just the UI walkthrough. There are some policies, environments, and so on. URL allowed list permission. So you can go into fine grain because you are now a workspace admin, right? You can restrict, clone, commit, and push to allowed Git repositories. You can only restrict, commit, and push to allowed Git repositories. This is good way in a Databricks free edition because when you are working in an organization, you might not be aware what functionalities the Databricks even provide, because your admins must have already or could have already filtered the functionalities for the organization, right? So if you are working in an organization using a Databricks UI, same like me, it's also good for me going through the Databricks free edition because I know, okay, these are the functionalities that can be used. And if you think that is beneficial for you or your colleagues, you can request that from the admin, right? Okay, this functionality we want, can you please enable it or disable it, right? And also the Git URL allow, you can also provide the URLs from where you can clone and commit and push to the Git, and allow repos to export IPYNB output. So if you are new to notebook things in data science, there is a thing called notebook, Jupyter notebook .ipynb ending, right? You can allow committing this notebook output, or you can disable it, because for the version control and so on, it's kind of challenging. If you have this IPYNB format, it's a pain. But Databricks, if you just disable this, it will go in a normal Python format, so it's easier for reviewers also to review your code and so on. But yeah, let's go to the notifications. Simple things, advanced. From here you can see here personal access token enabling token allows users to personal access token to access to Databricks REST API. You can see here partner connect, partner integrations, and service principles require this. If you disable this, then you cannot allow users to connect to the partner's account or work with the Databricks REST API. You just want them to use the UI itself, then you can disable this, So fine grained control, all the things are here. As you can see, many things, this can be enabled, disabled, as I said you before also. This is the settings part. Now let's go into the left menu, which is this one. As I said you can just enable and disable this, enable, disable, or you can just toggle this from here. So on the top there is this new, this is where many things are baked into. There are many things in the left menu step by step, but this plus one is handy where you can create a notebook, query, dashboard, Jenny space, job, all the things. And even you can see Git folder, SQL warehouse, serving input, and so on. This will be really handy to get started. If you don't want to navigate through the UI, just go to the plus and you can see all sorts of things here. You want to upload or add the data, fantastic. From here you can just click this, it will take you to the add data. And if you remember something, we were here in the plus, I click this add or upload data. Where did it take me? Into the data ingestion, right? Because that is a shortcut. And now from here you can see there are different integrations. If I go to query, you can see it went to the SQL editor. That means this is a shortcut. Again, I'm saying shortcut many times, but from here you can go to different places, not necessarily knowing the different parts where you want to go. So this is the shortcut. And now here you can see this is the workspace. So you can see the main workspace here, this is the home, and then here is this workspace, repos, all the GitHub integrations that I said you, there is shared, you can even share between users. If you create something, it will be go inside the users, it can be favorites and so on. You can see workspace users here. And now recents, I already went in the first place. Catalog meaning that here you can have your data for your powering your Databricks, let's say in a way. So here this is the Unity catalog and so on. Again, creating a separate video for this later, but there is also the workspace, there is compute, which I mentioned before. There is already a compute available for us to work in the free edition. We are not allowed to create this SQL warehouse. And you can see there is vector sorts, you can create a vector sorts index or endpoints and so on. You can create apps. I'll create a separate video for this. Again, this is the marketplace. So this is the good part. In Databricks, you are not restricted in the Databricks part only. There are many partners that you can just go and integrate it. That's it. So this is the main thing for all the users, right? Meaning that whenever you are logged in, all users have this functionality and it's easy to navigate. Well, others also you can have it, but if you are working in data engineering, you don't necessarily need to go to the AI ML part. What you can do is just SQL and data engineering, meaning that it is grouped in a way that it's not distracting. Whatever you need, you can just go there. For example, I'm working in SQL, I can go to the editor. And one thing is also, when you are going into the editor, this catalog is already appearing here, and you can see here is the assistant, here is the assistant, here is the assistant, many places. That's the reason I want to create a separate video about assistant, so you know how to use it properly. And then here this is queries. Once you have this SQL editor, all the queries are appearing here. Data dashboards, you can create the dashboards. Here is the Jenny. This is where you can upload the data and have a chatbot ask the questions into it. Alerts, query history, SQL warehouses, and so on. Now let's go to the data engineering part. There is job runs. So you can create different jobs here, right? You can create jobs and it will be shown here. Data ingestion, which I briefly showed you already. There is this pipelines also concept here. You can create a pipeline and see the job runs from here. We'll go and create simple pipelines later. And now there is this AI ML part. If you want to go to the playground, you can see this is the playground. Not all things are provided here, because when it comes to AI ML, there are LLMs under the hood and you need your API keys to connect. So here, let's explore this later, because this might not be the one that all of you want to do in the Databricks UI, right? Not necessarily everything must go into the AI ML part. But you can deploy the foundation models, create an external model, assess and deploy models from the marketplace also. So you can, there is a links how you can do this, and this is in the preview, so we know if it is a preview or not. If you do some machine learning things and if you shoot them experiments, so experiments will be appearing here. You can just click into it and it will take you to the place. And this is the feature store. When you create a feature store, it will be appearing here. You can see here it says table name. You can create a table, owner, online store, last written tags, and so on. Now this is the LLMs, right? You can see there are many models already provided here, mainly from BG Base, Whisper, Mistral, Meta, DBRX, and there is, okay, these are the things here. And when is the last modified? Schema catalog. There is this sorbing here, sorbing endpoint, meaning experimenting with LLMs, question mark. Try managed LLM models or securely connect to external providers like OpenAI. So you can even connect with OpenAI models from here. You can see here OpenAI GPT-4o, you can configure here and all the things will be shown. Okay, OpenAI from here, my model, my features, yeah, foundational models, llama, OpenAI, and so on. You can go here, you can, here is the OpenAI API key provided. Once you provide the API keys, then you can connect to those LLMs. I will create the video for this also later. So now let me go into the main UI again. So yeah, that's the UI walkthrough. It is a quite stops in the Databricks UI itself. And as I said, you don't necessarily need to go into all the places. Probably you just want to go to SQL editor, do some SQL stuffs, view that in the queries, make a data dashboards out of it, and have a chatbot running on top of it. You just need those 4 functionalities. You don't need any other things. Then great, just go into the SQL part and then close these, just go here, do your things, right? So the main thing that I want to convey here is it might be challenging in the Databricks UI, but if you know what is there and what kind of functionalities Databricks provides, then having understanding of the UI overall is necessary. That's all I want to cover in this video. I hope now you get the idea what is there in the Databricks UI itself. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. I'll be creating more videos related to Databricks and other AI concepts and data science videos in the future. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.